Good morning again, YouTube. It's your boy Zulu Gullah. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. We trying to get Sunday going, man. So been up for a little bit. Not too bad, man. I just can't. The weather, man. This cloudiness going back and forth. We had dealt with rain last weekend. A little rain a day or two ago again after that, and now we are back to cloudiness. So we'll take it in stride. But let's talk about what took place last week. And I actually believe it was last Sunday when this took place. And, I didn't rush like everybody else does to try to either break news or do a response on something. I took my time. For one, I like to think things out a little bit longer than other people because I like to see a technical breakdown to get all the details that I can get. I mean, that's the only way to give commentary on something. You have to go back and revisit it and study it for a minute in silence, in solitude, and let all the information jump out at you when you do that. Right. So, just before I begin, if you go back in 2020 and early 2021, I used to tell y'all that I was going to start breaking down uh, the women's playbook, particularly the sorority chick, especially the AKA. And their playbook was I named it the Pink Book, right? Now, a lot of y'all probably wonder why I never did get into that is because right after that, this particular woman, this photo, Crystal Carrison, she came up with shortly after that Pink Book lessons. I be telling y'all it's a lot of stealing going on in YouTube, and because people have bigger platforms, they can smother you out. They can take your stuff and smother you out, and act like they're the first to break it. When knowingly they listen to you or seen you in secret and they take your idea, right? Now, the way she teaches, she tried to teach it from a playbook of positivity across the board for all women. But originally, when I created it, it was to teach you to be aware of the chameleon. See, I invented that term too. I broke that on Red Supreme's platform, the word chameleon, and it spread like wildfire. It's like 5 or 6 things that they have stolen from me in YouTube that I put out there in the manosphere. So the pink book is related to identifying the chameleon as well. Primarily though, the AKA was the prototype uh, behind both the concepts. The overall idea, right? And all that stuff got stolen from me. Just like Snitch on the Bitch originally was Snitch for Snitch. That was Snitch on the Bitch. That was stolen from me. The Productive Man was stolen from me. What else was stolen from me? Man, it's a few other things, man. But and then that's how you know that my game is valid too. When people steal from me, that's how you know my game is valid. Because they don't have the experience and the seasoning. They don't have that. So they have to go and find content and make it seem like they created it, right? But anyways, let's get into this, right? So going back to Ramil's stream a week ago, um, when he was questioning, David Carroll and talking about how this particular lady in the thumbnail was trying to expose David Carroll, and David Carroll was a hypocrite and all this and all that. Like, for one, I didn't know much about David Carroll. I heard his name mentioned a couple times here and there, particularly as one of the older gentlemen in YouTube, a pioneer. but I really didn't care. At that particular point when I heard his name, I was too far past, just dealing with a lot of content creators all across the board. I didn't care if they come from the original Manosphere or 2.0, because everybody up until this point to me was not helping anything. Um, and then, also like just when dealing with the females and, the hypocrisy of them being allowed into space, taking over the space, and even controlling the space. I was at a conclusion like I don't really care what a female is talking about at this point. I don't care if she's one of the so-called goons or balanced. I don't care. The behavior of the male and female content creators, both to me, was very skeptical. Is very skeptical actually, and they've been a part of the scheme all along. Thus, even her trying to expose David Carroll proved that particular point that a lot of these people are interacting behind the scenes. They're coming up with schemes and skits, even if it feels like they're sworn or mortal enemies that's presented to the public. Behind the scenes, they're working together and they're trying to exploit you, the consumer black man. That's the core audience that they target first. Now they'll try to branch out once they get so far and grow and use you. Then they'll try to draw in a bigger audience, right? So her trying to expose David Carroll proved that point. You know, Ramil got kind of upset with me because he felt like I should have known more about David Carroll. I'm like, no, I don't have to know more about David Carroll. I know these content creators in general and that their overall purpose is garbage. And then I also, one of the things me and him argued about, it really wasn't an argument. Like I said, I don't even feel a certain kind of way about what transpired last week. That's my guy. I just be trying to drill it into these guys' head that at some point, man, you know, especially with them presenting this SBE concept, I really at this point don't pay bitches no attention. I'm automatically assuming whether they're telling the truth or not. There's always something about their narrative that you just have to dismiss what they're talking about when it comes to trying to expose somebody, trying to make themselves right. You know, you have to always expect some kind of curve. So that's why their word to me means nothing. Even if it is any truth in it, there's still going to be a curve. And that's what happened in this situation, right? So finally, when we got the information from Jap, because Jap was on the warpath to get that information and to get it out there, I think Jap missed the fact that even though David Carroll was being exposed behind the scenes, she was also exposing herself. And come to find out, the evidence proved that there was some very mutual interaction going on, some flirting. Uh, it could have been more than what we know because all we know is the screenshots of the text messages and pictures that were sent to media, but we don't know about what happened physically or in person. So, but it was verified that it wasn't just him flirting back and forth, it was her too. And then she actually sent a picture, a provocative picture of herself to him. And David Carroll is a black man, and this was supposed to be a divester who was married at the time with a family, right? So basically, you have cheating going on, right? And then you have a big contradiction because on one minute, not only are you cheating and married with a white husband claiming to be a divester, but then you're sending this provocative picture in response to flirting back and forth to a man who is supposed to be basically your anti. Publicly, y'all were enemies and y'all had discourses back and forth that were opposing to one another. But yet, behind the scenes, you sending this man provocative pictures, right? And then this also exposes this like trying to be classy in public, like I'm classy. I'm not an inappropriate type woman or whatever, but the behind the scenes photos says otherwise. Right. And the one of the other biggest things was I was like, why wait till this guy is dead? Like you could have done this when he was alive. Well, the reason why you couldn't do it when he was alive, getting back into uh something that I keep telling y'all when they talk, when they do things, there's a curveball. Because she didn't want to deal with what he can say in response while he was alive. See what I'm saying? Maybe you could expose him. Maybe you did expose him, but y'all will wind up exposing each other like you did that on your own. You exposed each other on your own. Now, it could have been more intense with him being alive and him able to speak up for himself. See? And that is, honestly, that's a coward, female or male. You want to say something about somebody after they're dead and gone, especially some of this particular nature and level, that is a coward. There is no justification for that, right? Regardless of what the truth was as far as y'all's interactions. But the one thing you didn't bank on is the intellect of the audience, particularly guys who took it upon themselves to say the things that needed to be said about the matter. And I was one of them. I don't care what nobody says about me having whether I know David Carroll or not. What I did was absolutely necessary for guys to learn how to approach women talking, and especially when they're bringing up things that are fucking messy. You know what I'm saying? So in reality, yeah, we really didn't care to get the evidence because basically we said all along, man, a bitch's word ain't shit. We just kept saying, man, so what the bitch is talking about? It's a bitch. It's a bitch. It is a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Bitch's words are horrible. And then it turned, even though she exposed him, she wound up exposing herself. So we found out more evidence that contradicted. Okay, so you trying to expose him, but then you're participating happily with this dude and sending this guy provocative pictures. So now it goes back to what we were saying all along. Bitch's words ain't shit. I'm exposing David Carroll today. Now, bitch, you exposed both of y'all, and your husband probably ain't gonna like when them goddamn pictures, you know what I'm saying, really he starts zooming in on them and wondering what the fuck is going on. And along with that dialogue, attached all them goddamn text messages, you know. So it is crazy when you try to tell these dudes, stop listening to fucking women. Women do not tell the 100% truth. There is something involved in that narrative that is also going to be off and not accurate. Okay. And it's going to show you that the shit that they say cannot be taken at fucking face value. Right. Their role in something will be also exposed and you will see the bullshit. So I want you guys to pay a fucking attention to how these fucking women talk, even though you ain't supposed to be listening to them because they fucking stupid. Pay attention. Don't be like the guys on the panel trying to have a discourse with them. Be dissecting what the fuck they say. Dissect and decode. Okay. Uh, you got this term called woman niece. It's been in the manosphere for a while, and I think Donovan Sharp talks about that shit. I don't think they really use that shit. I don't, that whole concept of womanese. I don't think these motherfuckers really understand womanese. They really don't. And they may understand some subpar shit, but the real shit, like what we do, like we really understand that shit, you know. So moving forward, I challenge you guys to just, if you have to stomach listening to one of them, decode, dissect. Okay? Decode and dissect. All right, I'm gonna cut this short, man, because I still got some relaxing to do. This is one of my relaxing days. I'll be up shortly for sure in a little bit, but you know, gotta get my rest in. So this is your boy, Zulu Gutter. Like, share, subscribe, comment. I'm gonna talk to y'all later, and y'all have a good Sunday. If we got another stream, let me check. I'm gonna check and see if we got another stream tonight. But if not, we gonna catch y'all tomorrow. So y'all stay tuned.